So I think we need to talk about PlayStation 5's SSD and Xbox Series X game optimization. Let's look into this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So it looks like PlayStation 5's SSD is back in the news again. So I see a lot of people telling me and everyone else on social media that PlayStation 5's SSD is so fast that there's things that can be done on PlayStation and cannot be done on Xbox Series consoles apparently. And yes, we heard that before, all these fanboys bias kind of arguments before, and looks like we are back with these arguments. People are arguing about the same again, and that's all thanks to Quantum Error. So developers of this game, Quantum Error was actually supposed to be a PlayStation 5 launch title, but yeah, it got delayed and they are still working on that game. But it looks like they are close to finishing this game and looks like they are promoting this game now. And I think they kind of made a bad decision promoting that game in a bit fanboyish way, because they started talking about the fact how in this game there are things that are possible on PlayStation and not possible on Xbox, and obviously fanboys actually took it to the next level, and you know how things roll on Twitter and social media in general, right? So 2 days later we've got the same developer explaining what they really meant and what does it mean for Xbox and for the Xbox version of this game, because apparently there is a running version for Xbox too. So looks like this game is possible on Xbox in the end. So actually, let's see this tweet from a developer, and let's actually focus on this first bit first, and we'll talk about the second part later. So they say, "We did not say the game does not run or work on Xbox," because like I said, fanboys took it to the next level and they started talking about things like, oh, this game will never come to Xbox because it's not possible on Xbox. Yeah, so they did confirm that it's working on Xbox. The game runs at 60 frames per second at the same graphics quality on Xbox as PlayStation 5. So there we go. They've got a working, fully running game on Xbox already, right? We only pointed out that the SSD on Xbox is slower and that we have to find a way to figure that out. And you know what, like, it's no secret that PlayStation 5's SSD is faster. It's actually much faster because it's double the speed of Xbox Series S and X SSD. We're talking about 2.4 gigabytes per second on Xbox, both Xbox consoles, and like close to 5 gigabytes per second on PlayStation 5. So that's double, and even with compression, the ratio is pretty much the same, right? Almost double the speed, the amount of data you can push through the SSD. So that's fine, but you know the problem here is that in order to, I mean, there's obviously tools and everything, but there's been games that apparently needed SSD, and now we know that they don't really need it, like Ratchet and Clank. And funny enough, they talk about Ratchet and Clank in this tweet later on over here. But like I said, I'll get back to it in a minute. And you know, like Nixes already confirmed that even Ratchet and Clank can run on mechanical drive, and Digital Foundry made some tests where they would run Ratchet and Clank on PlayStation 5 on a external SSD. I mean the upgrade SSD, which was, you know, part of the speed of the internal SSD, and that game worked fine, confirming that even Ratchet and Clank is not taking full advantage of that PlayStation 5 SSD. Right? And now we've got Quantum Error developers saying that, yeah, we've got issues with the Xbox version, really. I mean, not issues, but anyway. And so let's continue. Let's check what they say over here, because that's very important, because I did see the gameplay of that game and it doesn't really look that next gen to me, to be honest with you. But looks like it's more about some boss fights, So they say this: we have a boss fight in Quantum Error that swaps levels instantaneously 4 or 5 times, like Ratchet and Clank game. Without the extra speed of the SSD in the PlayStation 5, the boss fight could stall or hitch while transitioning, which will hamper the experience. So first off, all they say is that right now, with the build they've got right now on Xbox, yeah, there's some hitches and small, like, stutters when they transition. That's not the case on PlayStation. So that's the big issue they've got right now, right? They don't even talk about loading anything like that. Like loading, it's just like a stall or hitch, right? So it's like a stutter, right? Which is not great. Don't get me wrong, but I will tell you why that's happening, because we've got actually more information on that. Because you would think that Xbox should handle that kind of stuff anyway, right? Like this game, it doesn't really look that demanding, to be honest with you. Go and look up the gameplay of Quantum Error. Why? I keep saying Quantum Break, but I love that game, by the way. So now we know what's going on here. Looks like these developers didn't even try to use some of the Xbox Series X tech that is available there. So we've got this guy on Twitter asking some questions. So he says, doesn't direct storage on the Xbox solve that issue? And they replied saying, we are working on it, and yeah, it might solve everything, but we gotta test everything and figure it out. So what they basically say in this tweet, that, hey guys, we've got that working build on Xbox, but we didn't even use direct storage. So yeah, no wonder it's hitting, because I mean, like, guys, if a developer is not even using the most basic feature of Xbox Series S and X, and I really mean it, the most basic. I think that direct storage is one of the most important feature that developers should use. Yes, there's some other features like machine learning, there's a SFS, which is another big one, but it's not as important still as the most basic use of direct storage. And they don't use it, because the problem is, if you don't use direct storage, all loading has to go through CPU. So you are hammering CPU. Obviously, CPU will not be as quick with texture decompression as GPU, and you're not even using the GPU decompression block on Xbox. While on PlayStation, it works just fine, because the big difference between PlayStation 5 and Xbox is that Xbox comes with all these great features, but you have to optimize for these features. You have to implement these new features, these technologies into your game engine, right? And they are using Unreal Engine, and I'm afraid that Unreal Engine still doesn't support direct storage, which is mind-blowing to me. All these years later, come on, Microsoft, what the hell are you doing? Like, go speak with Epic Games and implement it. Like, this is so important, and that's why I don't understand. Like, Microsoft provided all these features, and they like, hey, you want to use it? Use it. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. Like this is why I kind of like the PlayStation's aggressiveness when it comes to implementing some of their features. Well, Xbox is like, we don't care. If you want to use it, use it. If you don't, you don't. Well, thank you, Microsoft. That's why Xbox Series X, even though it has all the power and all these features, like, developers don't care to use them. And to be honest with you, a lot of these developers, I mean, they are a small team, right? On PlayStation, basically, the texture decompression and the use of SSD is automatic. Like, they don't have to implement anything. It just works, because the whole SSD logic and texture decompression is actually built in on the system level. Mark Cerny did talk about it many times before. While on Xbox, you have to implement that to and it's not even only about loading. It's also about, like, better performance, because when you use texture decompression, GPU texture decompression, then CPU has more juice to run games better too, right? So This is so annoying when it comes to Xbox. Is like, yeah, Xbox made that game, but this console, and it's great and it's packed with a lot of features, but nobody cares. Nobody cares to use them, right? It's just like annoying as hell. So this is yet another example, quantum error, where developer is not using Xbox Series X technologies, most basic ones, and that's what we are getting. You know, that's why even in the past, we've seen a lot of games that stutter, hitch, have all kinds of different CPU related issues like frame rate and that kind of stuff, right? All because of the fact that PlayStation 5 handles texture decompression on the GPU and is done automatically, even though CPU on PlayStation 5 is not as, I mean, it's not faster actually. It's a bit weaker, but on Xbox it has to do more because it has to deal with texture decompression. So it is what it is. So and another thing, like going back to Unreal Engine and all these game engines, going back to like quantum error, for example, this is why I don't understand why Microsoft cannot just work with Epic and implement and help them implement direct storage, because it's crucial, it's very important. And because if quantum error, if quantum error is using Unreal Engine, I'm not sure if that's 4 or 5. If they use that engine and direct storage was implemented there in the game engine already, I mean, these developers wouldn't even have to implement it per se. They would just click the option, hey, use direct storage for Xbox, and it would just work. Now, I know I'm not a developer. I made a couple of interesting game projects in the past, but I never released anything. So I know that developing games is hard. You can actually, all you have to do is just miss, one dot in a script and everything falls apart. But reality of it is like Microsoft spends so much money and time in promoting the power and all these features and everything, and then they don't even work with Epic on implementing these features. I don't know. Is it politics? Is it money? I have no idea. I mean, Epic did confirm that Unreal Engine 5 will support direct storage in the future, but it's been like 3 years, guys. What the hell are you waiting for? Like, are you waiting for next generation? 2028? It's crazy. And what's even more crazy is that like Ratchet and Clank is coming to PC soon, and apparently it's using direct storage already, right? So a PlayStation game is using direct storage to its full capacity, and apparently they will be using texture decompression on PC too. So it's not a problem there, but Epic cannot do it? Blows my mind. But yeah, that's why it's sometimes so frustrating to cover these news, because you see all these technologies and these features and then nobody cares to use them for some reason. It's weird, super weird. But yeah, looks like quantum error, it's not an Xbox issue, it's just developers didn't really test things out just yet. Looks like they primarily focused on PlayStation version. Now they are working and optimizing for Xbox, and hopefully they will iron it out. They will figure it out how to use direct storage, and we will see a nice, good looking game apparently. Let's hope so. So anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.